Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, along with, I don't know if she's going to be off the camera or not tonight, my wifey, Jessica Lee, who is running the chat room. Actually, that jacket on and going peace, you look a little bit like you got a John Lennon kind of look going on.
Let me put the mala beads on this arm. Peace.
So, very excited to talk with you. It has been a beautiful, crazy time. So going to work on getting centered here. Let's all take a couple nice deep breaths in through the nose. Feel your hand on the belly, expand that belly, and out through the nose. One more time, in and out. Very, very good. So first off, I'm back from Mexico. Woohoo! I had an amazing time down with the Nobel Peace Laureates. Got to go on a bus tour with everybody to go see some Mayan communities. Met some incredible people from around the world. Dr. Bernice King, Martin Luther King's daughter, Lech Wałęsa. Just was an incredible experience down there. And am on fire and supercharged to bring back what knowledge I can, what inspiration that I can, and truly many messages on how we can serve and help change the world, and in the process, change our lives. It's often easier to, our lives benefit most when we're helping others, when we're learning to serve others. We're going to talk about a lot of this tonight. First off, some really quick housekeeping news, which is, first off, our iMeditations program is live. So if you want a bunch of free meditations and amazing guided meditations from your favorite guests to help you drop into a quiet space, simply come on over to inspirenationshow.com, and there's a link right up at the top to sign up and get your free meditations. We have 1 or 2 spots left for our fall coaching, and we've just run a very, very brief fall coaching sale. So if you want coaching, and at a good discount too, but if you want coaching with me personally, working with you, helping you to shift your life, come on over to inspirenationshow.com/coaching and sign up for a free strategy session with me today to see if coaching is right for you. Lastly, we are 100% supported by you, our audience. So if you want to support the show and you want lots of cool behind the scenes stuff, come on over to patreon.com/inspirenation. Haven't been able to keep up with the updates over Mexico, so you'll see a brief gap, but now we are starting to get that cranking again. You can also find out more about what we're doing, what I call Instagram. And if you go to Instagram/Inspire Nation Live, not Inspire Nation Show, Inspire Nation Live, you can find out about many of our goings on and lots of daily words of wisdom from both Jessica
Peace.
And myself. That was Jessica.
Peace. And
myself. So with that said, Jessica, how has this week been?
Rough.
What's the topic of tonight's talk again?
That's a good question. You changed it.
I changed it. It's something to do with move past mistakes and come out shining bright. I had originally had it something like how to survive your boo-boos and come out smelling like roses. We didn't boo-boo this week. And I want to go to Mexico and I want to talk a lot about it, but I really want to dive into the crux of things. And the crux of things is boop has gone down here this week, hasn't it, Pookie?
I think it's all about your perspective.
Okay, what would you say? Nudging closer here.
I don't see it as, I wouldn't call it whatever you just called it.
Going down. You would say that it is, and it's true, all of the challenges of your life, and this is something when I coach people that I work with, all of the challenges in life, every single one of them has beauty in disguise. In our case, I come back from Mexico saying, I really don't want to play it small anymore. And it's not that we're playing it small. We're playing a big game, but I want to play an even bigger game. Notice I say play because I want to challenge all of us in life. all of us, to play through life rather than worry and stress our way through life and push our way through life. Instead, play. But I want to come back here playing an even bigger game. And Universe is challenging us to help us to play this bigger game, to challenge us to get our lives in order. I was going to say affairs in order. That would sound really bad. But bring even more order to everything that we're doing. And so to find greater order, you must sometimes let go of the old, rebuild anew. And so, yes, as Jessica is writing in the chat room, Nacho Mole Frisque had a parasite while we were gone. So that's the first thing. I didn't even go there. So Jessica, what were you going through? I flew off to Mexico. Arriba, I'm getting to dance with the Nobel laureates. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be the coolest experience. And I get down there, and basically what happened from day number 1?
I discovered that he had what I thought was an abscess.
Yeah.
And I made an emergency trip to the vet.
Yeah.
And they gave me some betadine to create a bath to dunk Nacho Mole into, which is really...
It's like dunking a super ball on crack to get him to stay still. If anybody remembers the movie, what is it, Flubber from Disney from the 70s? Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, that was the movie. And Flubber was this rubber substance that when you bounce it, it starts going faster and faster. And that's kind of like mole, right?
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with Flubber. Yeah. So I was doing that, and but the abscess was not getting any smaller.
Yeah.
And it was growing in size.
And you're calling me with panicked phone calls and saying, not sure what to do. I'm dunking him, and we're going through all of our homeopathics. We're like, silver, you were coming up with...
So he was too small for the vets to come up with an antibiotic dosage that would be safe.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, okay, what are the natural antibiotics?
Yep.
Raw honey
Yep.
and colloidal silver.
Yep.
So that's what I started giving him. And after 2 or 3 days, I noticed that this growth seemed to be moving as if it had a mind of its own.
And you were saying mole seems to be pushing in and out this growth inside
I was
him.
like, maybe he's inadvertently moving it by just, his own movements. And but after a while, it became clear that this really did have a mind of its own, because it was its own entity.
I'm still, yeah.
So he's really grossed out by this, and he hasn't let me tell the whole story to him yet because he can't handle it.
No, I'm,
Long story short, turns out that it was a botfly larvae, and it
was
fortunately
it was growing inside of him.
Yeah.
And the little cut that you saw that you thought turned into an abscess from the first day, that you thought maybe he scraped himself on the wheel or something, was actually the breathing hole.
It was. I don't know how much detail people want to hear about.
It was the hole from which it inspired and expired everything.
Yeah. So fortunately, these kind of parasites, they want their hosts to live because they're feeding off of them. So mole was essentially unharmed aside from the hole that the parasite made. And after a certain amount of time, the parasite leaves on its own. And
in this case, my guess is that the dunking of the...
every time I dunked mole, I wish I could see people to see their reaction, and it'd be nice.
Just my reaction is enough. I'm twisting inside. That you're dunking mole in betadine, if you can picture that, and he's got a worm inside of him or a larvae inside of him, pushing in, pushing out, moving all around as you're dunking him.
So
mole's not wanting to stay still.
Every time I was dunking mole in this bath, this betadine bath, I was essentially suffocating the parasite, which turns out I learned later that that's one way to get the parasite to leave, because it can't breathe, so it's gonna like try and escape. So I think that did expedite its departure.
And so it departed from that hole?
From that hole. And then I read online that the hole should just, close up by itself and heal. But to be on the safe side, I continued dunking him in antibiotic stuff.
That makes sense. So I want to go to talking about how we move past challenges in our lives. You did a lot of automatic writing. I watched you both strong in that you were taking care of Mole basically 24/7, watching him not sleeping. And I watched you kind of wasting away and looking like a shattered wreck over the period. At one point, I'm in a conference with the laureates, and actually, no, even I'm in lunch with the laureates, and I'm on the phone with you. I break free and I'm on the phone. I'm like, do you want me to fly home now?
And I think at that point, I knew what I was up against. So I was like, no. But before I realized what it was, because I thought it was this ever-growing abscess that would never stop and eventually like take his life. I was like, where are you? Why aren't you answering my calls? I'm like, is some Nobel laureate speech more important than Nacho Mole's life? And you're like, I'm at a lunch with the Nobel laureates right now. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you went into automatic writing afterwards, and this is not even a shameless plug, but it's what we do to be able to tap in on the inside and get words of wisdom and guidance. And would you mind sharing? Because I haven't even heard yet. What did you get any of what the symbolism was behind this, or the reason? Because part of what I've experienced when I've come back from Mexico is systems crumbling in order to make way for something better. And I'm not sure if that had anything to do with what was going on with Mole.
There was a lot from my automatic writing. I can't say that I remember it all. But the interesting thing is that the parasite left Nacho on equinox.
I love that.
So the timing was incredible.
Now, what's interesting is Chichen Itza, which is this amazing Mayan pyramid that I visited just after equinox. On equinox, at sunrise, when the sun comes up, it's this giant pyramid with kind of stairs along the side of it. And along those, I'll do this, stairs, there is a shadow of a serpent.
Oh, yeah.
Like a larva on the side of this giant pyramid.
Larva didn't quite look like that.
Serpent, larva. You get what I'm saying.
I could show everyone photos.
Oh, God, no. They're probably going to say, yes, please, no.
I was texting my friends, you want to see a photo? Nobody replied.
God.
I was like, surely somebody's into this kind of gross stuff. But no, guess not.
So going back to what you may have learned.
Mole himself is, to me, a symbolism of diving deep, because he digs down deep into the earth. Well, we don't have earth for him, but we have
pine.
a lot of aspen wood chips for him to burrow into, and he's really great at making tunnels. And to me, that symbolizes for us at this time to go deep into our own stuff and really not be afraid to dig around in the dark and unearth all that stuff that gets to come out into the light and get transformed.
And so in a sense, he was unearthing and shedding and letting go of that which certainly did not serve him, which is what we get to do as well. So it's fascinating. And so I don't know how we're going to dovetail that to, I come home, you're doing better. I'm home for like a day or two, which was, I guess Thursday and Friday were just compressing a week's worth of work in 2 days. Saturday, I think we went out, actually the most drop dead gorgeous hike. This guy who came back from Kansas was saying it's his most beautiful hike in all of Colorado. I have a hard time arguing with that by the time we got done. I really do. That was just Grizzly Lake in Aspen, Colorado.
And you can see the photos on Instagram. There's a video and then there's also a photo.
Oh my God, the photos you took are incredible. I know you're going to paint them now, and I can't wait to see that. But I think it was the next day, or was it that night? So that day, there seemed to be some email challenges going on. I wasn't sure what was quite going on with things. I thought we had things figured out. And then maybe it was the next day that we found our I don't know if you want to call it foundational website from before we were even the Inspire Nation show.
So yeah, so Rum Bear Inc. is like our umbrella organization, and everything else that we've built since then falls under Rum Bear. And rumbear.com went down.
Not just went down, disappeared. Took a very long siesta or temporary dirt nap, one could say. And so you're typing in your own website, and you type in your website and it says, this website is hosted by GoDaddy. If you'd like to purchase this website, click here. I cannot express the temporarily holy, this will be, from being down under, holy tamale. How's that? And I'm not even sure if I probably just made things up and butchered things all at once.
I'm like, that's not Australian.
No, tamale would be Mexico. So I don't know what tamale is. But it was a shocking moment, followed by the realization that our business email had been down for 2 days, which we didn't even realize.
Yeah, our inspirenationshow.com email was linked through rumbear.com in some weird backwards kind of way.
So I'm then on the phone with GoDaddy with an amazing gentleman who's really trying to help us, Mervin in the Philippines. I'm on the phone for hour after hour after hour after I'd made a promise to myself, because I just had this amazing guest on Friday talking about how sunlight and daylight affects our energy, affects our health, and affects our sleep, and the importance of powering down your electronics hours before you go to bed. And I had just made a firm commitment to myself to shut everything down by 8 o'clock. I would like it even earlier, but to shut it all down by 8 o'clock. And here I am at 10, 11 o'clock, even later at night, I think till 11:30, talking with customer service, trying to get it figured out. One day, I'm on the phone with them the next day. We've got emails going back and forth. And this turned into a multi-day, we're still in it, although we've got our email working again, marathon, which at one point, I think you called me yesterday about food. I was on customer service with GoDaddy. I had them also calling me back to speak with a supervisor at the same time. I had an email coming through from their legal department at the same time. And then you call me trying to ask, what would you like me to get for you at Whole Foods? And
seemed like an innocent question to me.
It was a beautiful question.
I didn't think I was asking a lot.
But at that point, you could have said, here's $1 million, and I might have been okay with that. But barring that, I would have been, not now, Pookie. I think I'm about to throw up. It was as much as I could handle. And that's okay. And I want to let you know that if you're juggling stuff like that and your nervous system goes to pot and you do the best you can, just love yourself up. And I know it's all going to work out, but there's too much input coming in at once. And that has really continued through today's interview. I thought it was a brilliant interview given the circumstances with Tom Chi, who's a co-founder of Google X. We had just an amazing conversation about breaking down paradigms. We talked about so much. We talked about some crazy stuff. He's a rebel. He calls himself a quiet renegade. And we talked about a bunch of that stuff today. It was really, really cool. But with that said, I have been full. And so what have I been doing under these circumstances? I want to hear what you've been doing. But what I have done is I've been going into, I don't know why you're staring at my head now.
I thought you were asking me what you have done.
No, no,
Yes.
that wouldn't make any sense
I know.
now, would it?
Mhm.
So
Panic came over me.
I was looking at your cute bangs earlier going, when did you have them?
2 hours ago.
Ah,
he
I
noticed.
did good. I just won points, bonus points, everyone. I was noticing since the beginning of the show, and I'm going, was it days ago and I'm in trouble now?
I spent a whole 30 seconds on them, so they probably get to get touched up, but whatever.
So what I've been doing is I've been going into my automatic writing, and I've basically been using it as a coach and counselor. And yesterday morning, I did a whole bunch of emotion code work on myself over wounds and blocks. So my biggest wound in life is what I call the screw up gene. And maybe you can relate to this, a fear of screwing things up, of ruining things. And what with this, with our runbear.com is we bought a URL 10 years ago for a 10-year URL. And then the company that we were working with took my previous 2 businesses and wiped them off the face of the earth. Lost the website, lost the cache, lost the URL. How you lose the URL, I don't know, but they were gone, wiped out. And so we moved everything left off of that server, off of that site, except we had a 10-year renewal and didn't catch that runbear.com was on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And it went out of business this spring, and the renewal just came up, and there's nobody to contact. So Michael's insides, what does Michael's inside say?
You moron.
You screwed up, you blew it. Why didn't you pay attention? Why didn't you follow up? Why didn't you check? Why didn't you?
About something that you did 10 years ago.
My ego would say, but you should have checked on that. If this is a main website, why didn't you check and double check that it was okay, that it was going well? These are legitimate questions.
Are we having a fight now? Am I fighting with your ego?
Not that I'm aware of at all. If you guys sense that we're having a fight, please text, because I didn't know we were. So this is where my ego is at, or trying to go. And what it was doing is bringing up more old wounds. And so yesterday morning, I went into emotion code and I went looking for what some of the greatest screw ups of my life were. And I've been having nightmare after nightmare for the last 3 or 4 nights, particularly 2-3 nights ago. And it might have been 2 nights in a row. The girl that got away, which in a dream is a, what's the word for it? There's a word for different signs and symbols that come in archetype. It's an archetype of having screwed things up. Another archetype of having screwed things up is when we wake up in our dream naked in front of a group of people to give a speech, or we wake up in our dream and all of a sudden we're about to take the SATs, except we haven't studied for it all. Maybe we're in our underpants. We may not have even had a pen or pencil with us. These are common archetypes which represent the same thing. And so what I did is when I got up yesterday morning is I said, I want to go after these. I want to go after this one relationship and, well, non-relationship, this one screw up and remove that. And then, I feel like I want to go after a relationship that blew apart, that I felt like I screwed up, and go after that. And then another relationship and go after that, and use this as an opportunity for clearing. And so that's what I did yesterday morning. This morning, because these nightmares have continued unabated, I did manage to put myself in a dark room off on my own, well, with Mole last night and get some sleep, because that was the first night's sleep since the whole thing went down. But this morning was, I did a little bit of emotion code. I did a lot of rewiring of the subconscious, of having discussions and automatic writing about my subconscious and what's going on, and then did some tapping of trying to replace negative with positives. And so really working on this to get myself in as good of a place as I can. Next step for me is to go into the understanding, but I think we do have a good understanding. And you put it awesomely, if that's a word, right before you left earlier today. You said we've been running full speed and we love what we're doing. I love what we're doing. Jessica's like, I'd like to be painting. But there have been many places which, as entrepreneurs, you have to build the team as you go, or the expression, Kamal Ravikant said it, is you jump off the cliff and grow your wings on the way down. And so there have been lots of areas to tighten up of, or what you've been saying is lots of holes that we get to plug.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming back from Mexico saying, I want to take everything to the next level. And the universe is saying, your wish is my command.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to break down some of the old systems, which I think is what's going on. I'm not going to go into current affairs and politics. I love you no matter what side of anything that you're on. But a lot of the breaking down of the old systems we're seeing, I believe, is to allow something new to emerge. And that's quite literally what's going on in our politics right now, is in a sense been going on in our business, a chaos that is allowing for something new and something better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anything you would add to that?
I mean, it's kind of how I view all of these things that happen, all these little hurdles that arise. I'm like, oh, okay. It's uncomfortable, but I also have a sense of gratitude as this is an opportunity for us to finally make the shift to replace this broken thing that hasn't been serving us very well, but we've been either too busy or even afraid of changing. But then the universe goes, shove.
Yes, it does.
You can't procrastinate anymore. You've got to adjust this now. And there's a part of me that says, thank you. Like, good. Like, I've wanted to address this. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it.
Yeah. So with email, for myself, I grew up with mild dyslexia that was undiagnosed, but which presented a bunch of challenges in school, but I reverse letters. And if things aren't spaced out right and have the right colors and the right fonts, I can't read them, which is wild because I read a book a day. But on the computer, it all becomes a dizzy mismatch to me. And Gmail has been a dizzy mishmash since day number one. I'm like, oh, I pine for the days of Outlook. And I haven't tried to figure Outlook out because while it was the best client server, or whatever you call it for me, in grad school, I say that I lost a year of my life when Outlook went down and wiped out a year's worth of emails.
Oh, I forgot about that story. Yeah, so you have some wounding there.
I have some definite wounding there. So I haven't said, is there a way to put things back on Outlook? Well, now that we've gotten our email back up and running, and I've heard you can port everything to Outlook, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to delay. This happened for a reason, and it would be, in a sense, to disrespect the gift to not take advantage of this opportunity and switch to Outlook. So that's what I'm going to be doing. In fact, I can order Outlook tonight and have it running in the next day or two.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that, and we're going to see how it goes. We're also getting some more assistants on board, and we can start right with this new email system with the assistants.
Right.
So the timing for this is actually ideal. But don't think that this guy here is wearing a halo and all life is good. It's been challenging. It has been unnerving, to say the least. You come back from Mexico, there's very little sleep on the trip. I think I got 2 or 3 hours. Well, we won't exaggerate, 3 hours of sleep before the 3 flights, and then the 7 hours with car ride and getting back after the flights. I did get to see a couple amazing friends, yay, on the way back. But then it was go time, and then crash of stuff. And the nervous system has been untethered. But when it's untethered is the best place for growth. That's what I was talking with Tom about today, is discomfort is the best place for expansion. And so I'm getting tons of expansion right now. So, and if you can frame it that way, then you get through it. And it doesn't mean it's easy. And it doesn't mean that Jessica doesn't want to go thudda, 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 or the two of us going.
Yeah, I don't do well when you panic.
So, and I have done my best.
I'm like This is what I do. Stop panicking. The opposite of what one should do.
For the most part, I have been calm. I did start to use the F-bomb once on the phone with GoDaddy when they said they sold it to somebody, sold our website to somebody else. And then I said, wait, and I caught myself and I said, nope, sorry. I'm coming from a place of love. I love you. Sorry, you caught me off guard for a second. We will figure this out. I love you. I love you. I love you. And for the most part, I have stayed in that place, but it has been building up because I haven't had a chance to rest. And we need that rest in order to be able to step back, in order for the nervous system to stand down the troops.
Did you get a chance to go outside and lay on the earth?
I did one better than that.
You took a walk barefoot?
I cracked out my Earth Runner sandals and walked on a gravel path, which would not have been so enjoyable barefoot, with sandals on that have a copper grommet in each of the sandals to transmit earthing energy through to your feet. It has copper grommets and then a silver thread. And so I walked the equivalent of barefoot for about 7,000 steps, because rather than laying on the earth for grounding, my best modality is movement to get that stuck energy, because that's what it felt like the last few days. I feel stuck. So movement helps me get unstuck. Now, I didn't have the chi for a bike ride or a run. In fact, just the idea of changing the pedals between the tandem and the road bike seemed way over my head right now. I'm like, why didn't we get that second set of pedals? It's a silly little aside story. But walking got the energy flowing, and connecting with the earth certainly helped as well.
Can you speak a little bit about chi and what happens when you're under a tremendous amount of stress, and how you can rebuild that chi?
Well, different things happen. So basically your chi, your internal energy, goes into your fight or flight mechanism. It gets used it gets stored in you, but it gets taken away from basis resources. It gets taken away from your immune system. It gets taken away from your digestive system. It gets taken away for your ability to have rational thought, which is why when I'm on the phone with our amazing IT gentleman this afternoon, I'm going, it's just gibberish. And I turn to tell you it's just gibberish, and you're not even there. I'm speaking to you, our dear friend Denise, who's visiting, thinking it's you, because my brain is just not there. The energy has gone elsewhere.
And you start to view things with a different filter too. It was almost as if you're experiencing a different reality than I was, and it was hard to communicate.
Well, it amplifies, it exaggerates. So the concerns that I had, that I expressed to you, are still the same concerns I have now.
Yeah.
But at a different level. It amplifies, it turns up the volume, because your nervous system is set up for a fight, and it wants to fight, not fight you. It wants to fight so that it can stand down the troops. I've got to win or lose this fight, or make a run for it so that I can then calm down.
So how can somebody tell when they're being reasonable or not? Like,
it's in the breath. If you're catching yourself talking like this and you're not able to catch your breath and really feeling tight and your lungs are feeling tight and you're not sure what to do, you're insane. We all are at this point. I mean, there's studies that will literally show you're going to lose 20 to 40 IQ points the minute that you go into a fight or flight response, and it only goes downhill from there. If you're like I was on the phone with Mervyn with GoDaddy, I brought myself back to my breath. I'm like, I love you, Mervyn. I know we're going to figure this out.
Did you really say I love you, Mervyn?
Yes. Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I used the word love with him many, many times.
Really?
Yes. I brought it to a place of love. Love and fear cannot coexist. As long as I stayed in love, I was good. Now, it's not easy, at least for myself, to stay there the entire time. I do relatively good, that I'm trying to get ready for bed, and there's another thing and another thing and another thing. things start to come up. I go to sleep. My subconscious hasn't processed. And I get humiliated. I get shamed. Oh, the first night I went to jail. That's right. The first night in my dream,
Oh, yeah.
I found that I was being put in jail for 6 months. And I was in such a hurry to get out of jail that I went in and they locked me up before I even knew how long I was going to be in for. And the jail keeper, the warden, whatever, is like, do you know how long you're going to be in for? I'm like, no, it's maybe 2 months. I don't know. Let's get this started. And he's like, 6 months. You didn't even know how long. Now, it's interesting. I don't know what the symbolism there is for 6 months, which is interesting. We just passed equinox and we have entered the darkest 6 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that dream happened only a couple of days after equinox. So that's interesting. But you wake up from your dreams, and it's important to journal your dreams. And I can't recommend this enough, because when you journal your dreams, you learn how much your dream life affects your waking life affects your dream life. And obviously, after having this beautiful dream about being locked up and the key being thrown away for 6 months, I didn't exactly wake up on my A game.
What if, though, it wasn't really jail? What if you were actually going into a place to incubate? And
that's something I would learn either with you or with a coach or in automatic writing. But the feeling when I woke up, the feeling was, and this isn't an intuitive, or this isn't an intellectual, could it be this other thing? The feeling was, you screwed everything up, you ruined everything, now you're even going to jail. You've ruined it all. It just couldn't get any worse than this. That was the woohoo. When you start, it should be in the start of the day, you should be, and chemically, if you got a good night's sleep, something I was discussing about in Chasing the Sun on Friday's interview, that should actually be once the daylight hits, when all the happy drugs kick in and your happiest time of the day. And instead, my subconscious feels slayed. And that was 3 mornings ago. 2 mornings ago, it was seeing the girl that got away with my best friend and being invited or something to a dance where they were going to be dancing in front of me, which was just representing of shame and humiliation and feeling small and feeling less than.
Yeah.
And that was 2 nights ago's dream. And then, I don't know, last night was probably something in the, maybe there's a second night of her, and then last night was just something terrible as well.
So these dreams are coming up now because your higher self wants you to address these.
Yes. So I've done a lot of work on myself. I can't say I've got everything taken care of. I don't know, even in a lifetime, if we will, because as long as we're incarnate, our ego ends up kicking in. And I believe in embodying the ego, taking the ego in, not fighting and pushing away. But there'll always be things to work on, and there are layers. And so something peeled away here, and this big layer of, oh, you get to clear this, has come up. And it's sort of like, I've done a lot of work clearing you. I know I get to do more, and it's without judgment. But sometimes we come right back around to something that seemed like we'd already cleared. You're like, Michael, you've done a ton of work on it. And then I do another clearing and you're like, oh, I feel better, because there's so many layers to this. Should we take some questions, or did you have something to add?
Well, I was just mulling something over in my mind. I was just thinking about the metaphor of the parasite and wondering if in some way these wounds, these deep wounds are like parasites. They almost do take on.
It's interesting. I've done clearings of, poltergeisty kind of things. Certainly attachments or lost souls or whatever we want to call it, hitchhikers and things like that, which are kind of like parasites. But you're right, negative emotions that I help clear from people. I talk of it being a gorilla on people's shoulders, and I'm going to help you remove that gorilla. Well, that gorilla is a parasite. It is draining. It is taking your energy and resources. One of the things we've come back and I have yet to figure out how to deal with, but it really came up strongly when I was in Mexico. And in Mexico, I had an immaculate hotel room with everything in its place, in its drawer, each and every day. And what I was thinking about is the fact that everything is a burden on our nervous system. Actually, things can be a boost to our nervous system, a boon, or a bust.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you have clutter around you, every time you have something open on your computer, open on your desktop, open in your lives, it can be pulling you down like a parasite. And I came back here, and part of what frustrated me so much this weekend is I was on a mission to get systems in place, to write up everything from Mexico, all these learnings, all these epiphanies, all these amazing connections, and then dive into getting things in even greater order. But the universe had other plans, which made it doubly frustrating because I'm like, no, here's what I want to take care of. And the universe is like, I'm like, no, I want to wear as you put it earlier today.
Did I?
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'd never seen you do that before.
Huh.
It was either earlier today or last night. You went, it was this really cool thing. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen you do that
I don't
before.
remember what we were talking about.
It was really, really cool. I think we were out someplace probably. No, it was with Zach and Natalie.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember what the context was? I don't know.
No, we were saying goodbye and we did a fist bump and we went.
There you go. So universe said, all right, you want to get things in order. I've got to shake things up even more for you. But I'm realizing just how much everything can either set us free or pull us down. And I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Meaning, not from a place of upset, from a place of love. What can I do everywhere?
Well, you can look at an obstacle that way too. You can either look at the obstacle as an opportunity to pull yourself up,
yes,
or you could let it take you down.
Yeah. And we ain't going down. How's that Enya song?
We've come too far.
We'll not go down with this ship. We have come too far. So with that said, want to take some questions here.
Yes, we had
I love that S. Fox wrote, just Googled, how long do bears hibernate? Answer, 5 to 7 months. I haven't seen the bears in a week or two with our dear friend and incredible healer and cranial sacral therapist and body worker, Denise, visiting. She has asked if any bears have been around recently, so maybe we can conjure one up for her. So kind, gentle, easy, good.
Yes, but I was also going to say, if in the Sacramento area and you need miraculous healing or body work,
OMG.
Look up Denise Fisher.
Denise Fisher, and you're going to write that in here? Excellent.
She helped rebuild Michael after his near fatal accident.
Yes. All right. So let us take some questions here.
Tammy had a dream. What does it mean if you dream you're marrying your brother? Creepy dream, and I woke up disturbed. I'd wake up disturbed too.
Yeah. I think the brother is just an archetype. Now, what is the question? But it's, to me, the brother represents some internal aspect of yourself that you are attached to and likely get to let go of and get to look at what is that element that my brother represents. And that's where I would go to journaling, or again, I love automatic writing. In fact, we are writing the book on it. We've tried writing the book on it 2.5 times, the half time being with a professional editor. This time we are having an amazing gentleman come out to work with me in November to get this book written. I'm really excited about. But automatic writing, you can go into this meditative writing, third-person writing exercise in the morning and literally ask, what does this represent? What does this mean? Because clearly it does not mean that you love your brother that way or that you literally want to marry your brother. Nothing to do with that. Your brother is just representing an element or aspect of yourself that I'm convinced you're holding on too tight to and get to let go of. And it may have been something that's been there your entire life, because your brother certainly represents someone who has been with you If he's a younger brother, almost all of your existence. If he's an older brother, all of your existence, and something that is now time to come up and to be let go of. Next question.
Let's see. I had a question that slipped my mind. Do you have questions for yourself?
Self? What's the next step? Actually, I do have an interesting question for the universe, which is, why is it when the universe tells me that it wants me to start getting back up at 4 a.m. rather than the 5 something I've been getting up, then it then gifts me with all of these opportunities to stay up late, which are not optional?
I think they still are optional.
So you think I could have not spoken with GoDaddy?
You could have spoken to GoDaddy the following morning.
So how would you have felt about that?
Fine.
Well, the call took place at an early enough time, but then he's saying, hold on, got to check on this. Hold on, got to check on that.
Yeah, and actually I wasn't on the call and I was asking many more questions, keeping everybody on the phone longer.
Yeah.
But so why do you think? What's more important? Whatever you're dealing with that's keeping you up, or getting up early?
I think the first night certainly what I was dealing with. The second night was what we were dealing with, and I believe uploading the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that certainly is, show always comes first. Show gets to be uploaded. And last night, I think I did a little bit better. And this night I'll go for it again.
So is it about, you have your rule sets, but be willing to be flexible?
I think you have to be flexible. And certainly the universe is going to demand that of you. The idea that I will meditate no matter what at 4 a.m. I will do this spiritual practice at this time is actually the antithesis.
And you used to beat yourself up if you didn't adhere to your rules.
Yes. I've let that go. I mean, the whole trip to Mexico. Well, actually, I want to talk about one key element that happened, which kind of foreshadowed this, which is I went the day after the bus tour with the laureates. We all went our separate ways, and I rented a car, a cute little peppy little red thing, to go. And what was the name that we had for it?
Zippy?
Zippy, thank you. Yes. Rented Zippy, which was a little Nissan, smaller than a Juke. Super little peppy because, it weighed about 10 pounds with me in it. And I went first to pyramids, mm-hmm. and then I went to these things. Mm-hmm. And a cenote, the Yucatan Peninsula, is, I guess, this very porous rock and soil and probably calcium from millions of years. And in thousands of places throughout the Yucatan are these water holes where I think they're underground aquifers where the soil is caved in. They could be 150 feet deep, and it's perfectly clean fresh water. It's where the Mayans deep in the jungle would get their water from. And so you could be hiking along in a jungle, and all of a sudden there's a hole in the ground, and it's 100, 200 feet deep with vines going down. And then at the bottom of it, there's a water hole, maybe 100, 200 yards across, or maybe going into caves with stalagmites and stalactites, if I get those names right, going another 50 meters down into the ground. And to me, going to the pyramids, particularly Chichen Itza, was going to a very touristy, I couldn't find the sacred energy in the place. No matter how much I sat and meditated, and I went barefoot through these whole areas, Chichen Itza, I couldn't find any special energy. The next one I went to, Bak El, I think it was called, and I'm not sure if I'm getting that right, B-A-K space E-L. That one I climbed on top of a pyramid where I had this vision of seeing this land out before me in the past, and I can't say I know what that means, but that land felt sacred, and I swam in that cenote, and that felt sacred. Next day, went out on a similar journey with the car all the way out to the east coast to a town called Tulum, and swam in this cenote called the Grand Cenote, and then swam in the ocean, which was too hot. It was really, really weird and hot and no fish and really icky, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then I drove back and I picked up a hitchhiker who is a musician who travels around the world and does some kind of very special Mexican music. In fact, I need to look up his work. I've got his card over here. I might as well share it with everybody.
Okay, we've got a few questions.
Okay, so I'll move through quickly. He tells me to take the scenic road on the way back because I'll see more of the real Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure on time. If I have the time to do it, I say I'm going to go for it. And I pass a gas station right away and I look at my tank and I've got a bunch of gas in it. I got like 6/10 of tank of gas. No problem. And I'll find some more gas on the way. And later on I'm driving and I'll find some more gas on the way. And later on I'm driving and I'm like, I need gas. And then I need gas. And then it says gas coming up, gas doesn't appear. I finally find myself back on the highway. It says gas coming up in 24 kilometers. My odometer says I have like 61 or 69 kilometers to go till empty. And then a few kilometers later, it says I have 0 kilometers to go till empty. And I was only in town for a few days, so I didn't have an international phone. Mm-hmm. Don't speak the language very well. It's hours past dark. I'm on an international highway and the car is telling me I'm out of gas. It's still going, but I'm out of gas. And it was such a lesson. I knew I was going to make it. I didn't know what it was going to look like, of leaning into the fear, mm-hmm. of breathing into things. I was saying to myself, self, I know it's going to work out. I know in 20, 25 kilometers, you will find gas. And I heard my ego going, but do I need to stay here and be freaked out for this next 25 kilometers? And I'm like, I just want you to breathe and lean into it, and breathe and lean into it. And I think that's a big lesson and a foreshadowing of the, oh my gosh, the website is gone, the emails are gone. I have to breathe and lean into it. And yes, I did find gas like another 40 kilometers later. And between you and me, I saw the gas on the other side of the highway, and then I saw a sign that said, no U-turns. And so it was night, it was dark, there's nobody around, and I said, thank you very much. And I took that U-turn. I made it to the gas station. Had I not, it was another 20 kilometers, mm-hmm. It turns out. I don't know if I had 20 more kilometers in the car. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There was a lot of prayer going on, a lot of surrender, something I would encourage here as well. Breathe. I know you're like, questions. We have questions, Michael. Mm-hmm. I can feel the tension. Breathe into even that.
Yeah, it's not fair. I've heard the story already.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Karina asks, how can I declutter? I find it so hard to let go of stuff. Some sort of mind block?
Karina, we had a guest on earlier this year, and I will not come up with her name, talking about all of the different mind blocks around decluttering. So it's worth looking at her work. And it is certainly worth asking yourself what these clutter elements are about. I think part of it for myself has been not being willing to let go of the past. A part of it has been a remnant of lack consciousness that says, I just need to eBay everything. I need to eBay this paperclip. It has value to it. And what you're really saying is, I don't trust you, universe, that if I let these things go, that not new things, but that you will be there to support me. So I want to hold on to these things. It represents safety on some level. So we've got a challenge of letting go of the past. We have a challenge of safety and potentially a lack consciousness. But something that I was talking about a few minutes ago, about everything having an energy, that clutter in your environment. And coming back from Mexico and with everything that's gone on, oh my gosh, golly, and setting up a new system for Mole, I have some clutter in the studio that I get to work on. But I think more than ever, I am in a place of being willing to let go, because I understand just how much each of those items has an energy to them. I think Meowsers is eating the flower plant now.
That's not good. I think he's just
enamored with the flowers.
No, I think he's bluffing.
I brought it in because we are supposed to have our first real freeze.
Okay.
Not tonight, but I guess it's tomorrow night. I thought it was going to be tonight.
We had a question from Simply Faye. Welcome back, Michael. I have defined what success means for me for the next 3 months.
Cool, Simply Faye.
I create a roadmap. I know what I want. I know what to do. How do I know I'll be all right? Thank you very much.
Simply Faye. I was having a talk with the universe. Something was going on with the universe in the last couple of days. And I heard, because I've done so much automatic writing, that I tend to hear these things very clearly now. Doesn't mean that ego doesn't still kick up. I can hear the messages of the universe, but that mortal side of myself will always chime in loud and clear. But the universe was saying, what, you doubt us? You doubt us? We are all surrounded by the energy of love, whether we call it angels, whether we call it guides, whether we just call it the love within. We are all surrounded by this. And when you feel a pull from your heart, that is a tug from somewhere beyond your small self. Follow that tug. Let it pull you. Now, going down to Mexico was an incredible opportunity for me. It was also a giant leap of faith. And yet I felt that pull and I said, all right, I'm just going to trust. I'm just going to go. What my whole experience was in Mexico was going from one event to a magical another event to a magical another event, to be standing on the street waiting for 2.5 hours for Ricky Martin, which is a whole nother story, to the next event of surrender and surrender and surrender more. So I would put along with that SUCCESS, another SU word, surrender. Surrender into it all. Feel it out from the heart and lean forward into it. Simply Faye, one of the most amazing quotes that kept coming up time after time from a Nobel Peace Laureate who his foundation was there. He's passed on. But from Nelson Mandela, that came up time after time was, we either succeed or we learn. So Simply Faye, you will either succeed or you will learn. And learning is a success. And the ego can go, but I'll be wiped out, but I'll be homeless, but I'll be. Chances are you will survive and you will learn at a, quote, worst case scenario. But we're not here to play it small. We're not here to play it comfortable. We're here to get uncomfortable. We're here to be holding our breath, driving the car down the road, going, I'll never do it again, even at 0.6 of a tank. If I'm in a foreign country, I will fill. That getting uncomfortable is here to serve us. So lean into it, Simply Faye. Know you're loved. Know you're supported. Certainly ask for assistance. Go to mentors. Go to guides. Go to a coach. Go to your automatic writing and step back and learn about the process as you're going through, knowing, since this is a pull from the inside, you will be supported. Mole pictures?
I'm looking up nacho mole photos for later.
Excellent.
We have one more question.
One more question.
And then
All
we'll
right.
do show and tell.
Excellent. And then I get to coach.
Okay.
Woo!
Ashton writes, I don't remember having a dream in a very long time. Lately, I've been training for an OCR race late. I might go for a run at 12:30 in the morning and then I'm going to bed at 3 and getting up at 7. Is this causing me not to dream?
Certainly. I mean, so what's happening is by throwing your sleep schedule so out of whack, dreaming occurs when you're able to basically purge things out of the mind, purge things out of the nervous system. And it requires us being in sync with the earth. Now, that doesn't mean you won't have any dreams, and particularly going to sleep that late, you might start having some hallucinations at some point. And I can't recommend this as a long-term training habit. I understand getting in sync for late night events, but you want to do it as a short-term thing. Particularly check out our recent interview, which, did it come out yet on Chasing the Sun, or will that be out in the next few days? Okay, that'll be out Thursday, because what you're doing is the equivalent of swing shifts, and swing shifts, even emergency workers who feel like they get in sync with it our bodies never get fully in sync with it because we are connected to the land. We are walking, talking expressions of the land. So if we get out of sync with the earth and don't get to bed within a few hours of sundown, we throw everything out of balance, and that can certainly affect our ability to sleep because we're not getting into the deep sleep where we have REM, rapid eye movement. You need deep sleep to have good, deep dreams. And so I would encourage you, if that race is not coming for a while, to see what you can do to get more of a regular sleep pattern, because it's one thing to get in sync for your event. It's another thing to lose your recovery because you're not getting to bed a few hours after the sun goes down. Much better for you to sleep if you needed to from 8 to 12 and then get up and train, or even better, put yourself to sleep. This time of the year you can do it. The sun's going down earlier. Put yourself to sleep at 7. Sleep 7 to 3. Get up and play in the dark for several hours before the sun comes up, and you'll actually do phenomenal. You'll do much better. Your body will be more recovered. Your immune system will be stronger. Your body will recover better from each workout. You won't find yourself fatigued and exhausted and spacey throughout the day as well. That would be my recommendation. And you do have pictures? I'm going to go sneeze now.
Yeah.
If there's one more question, I can do that. But
No, we're gonna do a nacho mole video viewing. So this is just a couple of days ago.
Side profile. Nope.
It's the cutest thing. He'll take a blade of grass, chomp down the middle, then he'll have 2 blades, and he'll eat one blade with one hand and then the other.
How hard would it be to show us the picture that you sent to your family that you took on the hike a couple of days ago?
Oh, okay. That's easy.
I'm curious what other mole pictures there are, but mole.
No, I'm not. Talk.
Hi, I'm Michael. Good to meet you. What else do we have coming up this week?
This was on our hike.
Oh my God, that is just gorgeous.
There
we go.
I'm not sure if the color is coming across properly.
I'm not sure as well. So
anyway, it's on Instagram.
Anything else about Nacho? You just got him a bridge. I actually want to double the length. I was thinking about it today. You got him a bridge, but it's an arc on the ground. And I know Nacho, Mole, and he likes being up high because he'll stand on top of it now, all proud, on his hind legs, standing up.
Checking out the lay of the land.
Yes, absolutely. And so I would like a hanging bridge, so a double length. You could even get 3 more pieces, have a double length bridge. We have a 55-gallon aquarium for him. And so it's like 4.5, 48 inches long. I guess that's 4 feet long by about a foot, a little over a foot wide. And it's about 2 feet high. And so I'd like to get a hanging bridge going the whole way across and then an arc below. And we're just going to have fun. This is going to be the most spoiled vole on the planet if we can do it. Any last thoughts or questions for this week, or comments that you want to share, or anything that you're excited or happy or daunted or otherwise about?
I'm excited about the team that we're building. It finally feels like we're getting some cohesion. It was rough over the summer. Some people didn't work out, and we had to lean into that. And it was, there's a lot of fear about bringing people on board. Fear that they might not work out, which they didn't, but
you
we
can't
survived.
stop trying.
Everything was okay.
Yes, you cannot. Will you guys release or keep him? The last question. So Tammy, he is not, as far as we can tell, the street smarts that he would have at this point are aquarium street smarts, because he opened his eyes and imprinted on Jessica as mommy, like Mama Goose.
So he was never taught how to live in the wild. So if we set him free, we'd be sentencing him to a
we don't even want to go there. But so this is hard for me. So I'm working on this. I am very much, I feel like, and this is an excuse, the provider. I must be working, or I must be blah, blah, blah. And so to take a long time and just be with Mole, which means putting him in what I call the playpen, and then he'll run around, and then he'll kind of burrow underneath, and you'll just be standing there for 5 or 10 minutes. And then he'll run around, and then he'll burrow himself into like a towel or something, and you're standing there for another 5 or 10 minutes. My nervous system is going, I want to do something now.
Yeah, it's true. I learned the same thing while you were away in Mexico, and I was, dealing with the whole Parasite incident. I had a lot of just be time.
And he's teaching.
Yeah.
And I like it. And this morning, I wanted it to be first thing after automatic writing, but then you came in and it was like second or third thing. But I did do it early.
And, it reminded me of when I was a kid and I had many hamsters, and I was okay with just being with the hamsters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's so much harder now.
I feel a pressure inside of me to do for this business, and I can hear the voice in my head again going, what, you don't trust us? You don't trust me? It's not going to work out at our speed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have even less control than you could ever possibly imagine.
And we've had so many guests come on the show who talk about, it's the breaks that you take away from the work, the be time. That's when the epiphanies come about. That's when the inspirational thoughts or ideas.
And I think that's part of what Mole is going to continue and challenge and teach us. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We love all of you. Karina, who just made the last comment, we love you. Tammy, we love you. Palma-Lee, we love you. Simply Faye, we love you. Mary, we love you. Ashton, we love you. Tammy, we love you. Who else do we have? Anybody else? We love you. Ashton, we love you.
Mary,
Carol, Jessica Sorensen. We love all of you guys, and we want to wish you the most beautiful week ahead. Brother John, we love you. Come on over to inspirenationshow.com. Sign up to get a bunch of free meditations. Follow us on Inspire Nation Live on Instagrammy. There's probably a spot or two left for coaching at this point. So if you want a free strategy session with me and at a fall sale price, which I can't even remember the last time we put it on sale, come on over to inspirenationshow.com/coaching. And last, I'm going to be posting a bunch of stuff around a trip to Mexico and a lot of stuff moving forward on Patreon. So if you want to support the show, and please, I'm going to ask for your support. We could use your support because we are 100% supported by you, and the team that we're bringing on board to make things even better for you and better on ourselves requires a lot of moolah assistance. So I am certainly not above asking for your support. Please come on over to patreon.com, patreon.com/Inspire Nation to come support the show. We love you so much. We'll see you next week. I love you, Jessica. I love you, Jessica. I love you, Jessica. I love you, Meowsers. And Denise in the background. And this, if you're in the Sacramento area
or here in the valley,
in the Roaring Forks Valley, and you need some healing, some tune-up work, just to feel better.
Magic hands.
She does have magic hands. I am living, breathing. I don't know if I would even be here. I probably would have made it.
You might be limping.
So I might be. Call me Michael. And I'm not picking on anybody. I have spent, if you add it all up, years on crutches and wheelchairs. And so I actually get excited in some strange way when I see someone in a wheelchair or something, because I want to try to help. And I'm like, I've been there, I get it. But she has done some miraculous work on us. So I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful evening. Above and beyond all else, shine bright, and we will see you next week. And Simply Faye, you're an example for all of us. Go for it, go for it, go for it, and just keep us updated. We love you guys. Woohoo!